Andy Sullivan, welcome to Blue Collar Corner. I'm here in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, my favorite part of the whole planet, and I'm going to do a little heavy bag politics. So watch, listen, and hopefully learn. Well, it seems like the Occupy Wall Street protesters are back in the news again. Today was their 2-month anniversary. 2 months of occupying Zuccotti Park and making a mess of it. And what has happened? There's been rapes, defecating in public, public nudity, spitting on the cops. And the rapes got so bad, they actually had to set up a rape tent that only women were allowed to enter. And they had to use their own security because that's how unsafe the women felt at that protest. Now, could you imagine if anything like this would have happened at a Tea Party event? My God, the calamity that would break loose. And here it is, a liberal movement. You know, at first they had a good idea, sort of. Looked like they were trying to craft their message. But now it's just every psycho leftist liberal group and a bunch of run-of-the-mill psychos coming down, begging for food, doing drugs. And recently, there was a murder. A murder! And this is barely getting out. In Oakland, somebody was murdered at one of these Occupy Wall Street events. Okay, this stuff needs to be stopped. Now, thank God, our embarrassment of a mayor finally grew a set and kicked these guys out. And they did it in a good fashion. But it seems like they took all the tents and all the porta potties away, but they're still coming back. And now the threats begin. This was not a peaceful movement from the get-go. This was supposed to occur like it's happening right now. It started off as something of a peaceful message or sort of some kind of very unfocused message, and it drew out all kinds of crazies, and now they're looking to terrorize the city. They're making threats about throwing Molotov cocktails in Macy's. They're making threats about blocking off the Brooklyn Bridge. These are acts of terror. Okay, they're going to be disrupting American life right now. Business, personal, residential, commercial, everything. These people, up to date right now, there's been over 1,300 arrests and over $7 million spent in extra police overtime to try and contain these people. And every eye and every cop that is watching this group of people, that's one less cop watching us in terms of a terrorist attack from some radical Islamic group. And that leaves us open and terribly vulnerable, especially here in New York City. I'll tell you, I'd love to get a couple of them in this room right now. But anyway, everyone should be very careful about what's about to happen within these next few days, because they are telegraphing these terror attacks that they're going to perform. So, all you New Yorkers out there, look at what's happening. We have a president that's actually supporting this movement. This all came about because our president decided to engage in class warfare. And right now, it's going to work. And it's only been one murder. And if this is let to continue there's going to be more murder. Where's it going to end? When is someone going to have enough sense to stop this madness? I know the only thing the president cares about is his next term. He'll blame everybody. He'll blame tsunamis, nuclear power plants. He'll blame the stars and the moon and every Republican known to man. But you know what? He began this. This class warfare originated from the White House. This is the result. Death, rape, murder, total anarchy in our cities. And it's going on all over the country. And this is a guy who was supposed to be the unifier. This was a man who was going to transcend the old way of doing politics. And he was going to be a breath of fresh air, of hope and change. I'll tell you right now, this election cycle is going to be the most important of all our lives, probably in the history of the country. Because we got to make a decision. Are we going to turn this radical hard left and let these policies implement and infiltrate into the greatest system known to mankind and destroy it? Or are we going to stop them come 2012 and get back to our founding principles? By the way, if you were watching, we did a few lessons on the old speed bag. Anybody out there doing their homework? I know it looks hard, and the first couple of months it's going to be very difficult because you're going to look a bit spastic, and your friends are definitely going to make fun of you. But let's just go over the basics, okay? The whole entire thing is a 3 count. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's it. And then you just start to alternate hands. Then you start looking like that. Another item in the news. This whole ungodly scandal that's going on over at Penn State. This is just going to get worse and worse. People are trying to come to terms with the fact that how can anybody cover this up? I mean, who could withstand the guilt that comes along with letting a man behave like that with very young boys? And I don't think anybody is really asking the question, why? And I'm going to tell you why. Because they're in on it. Ladies and gentlemen, as the weeks and the months unfold, we're going to find out that Mr. Collegiate legendary coach Joe Paterno was much more involved in this thing than any of us imagined in our worst nightmare. Not only that, it probably goes up all the way to the alumni, the upper offices, and nobody gave a damn. Because you see, these groups are very well connected, both politically and financially. Because they're such a hated group, this whole man-boy relationship, love association, they protect each other. Because they know there's no one else out there that will. That's why they stick together. Did a lot of reading on this subject, and it is frightening and horrific. How's that financial bill working out for us, huh? That whole financial reform bill that Mr. Obama implemented? It seems like two of the biggest culprits of the financial collapse, Fannie and Freddie, do you know that they're not included in the bill at all? there's been nothing included to regulate Fannie and Freddie. And here it is, Christmas time is coming. And do you know that the executives are going to be getting hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses? Not only that, they had a losing third quarter. They lost $4 billion. And they're turning around and asking the Treasury for another $12 billion bailout money. What the hell is going on? We got to stop this punishment for people who are successful and reward for people who fail. They got it backwards. All right? Let's get it together, guys. Let's stick together. Let's bring this country back on track. And it's certainly not going to happen with these guys. And we got establishment Republicans up there as well that are just to blame as any leftist, socialist, commie bastard. Because they're allowing it to happen, because they're in power, and that's all they care about. Speaking of which, our congressmen aren't beholden to any of the insider trading laws. Did you know that congressmen, people who vote on major pieces of legislation when it comes to laws regulating credit cards, banks, corporations, all of those IPOs that go along with that, they're privy to all of this information. And believe me, they invest accordingly. The collective wealth of our Congress is somewhere in the hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, why else would you pay $5 million to get an office that makes $150,000 a year? Starting to make sense? Andy Sullivan, Blue Collar Corner. Give us a call, drop us a line, let us know what you think. Signing off.